So what exactly is the best international dividend ETF to own in your portfolio? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Average Joe Investor channel. My name is Joe, and in this video we are back testing 20, not 5, not 10, 20 different international dividend ETFs to see which one might be the best fit for your portfolio. In this video, I'll do a very brief breakdown of the 20 different dividend ETFs. We'll look at the expense ratios, we'll look at the amount of holdings, when it was created, the annual dividend, their current dividend yield. And then secondly, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at 3 different investing strategies: monthly contributions without reinvesting dividends, monthly contributions with reinvested dividends, and a lump sum investment strategy to see which of these dividend ETFs actually performs the best with respect to trailing 12 months of dividend income as well as the overall portfolio value. Holy smokes, guys, this video took a lot of time. I definitely bit off more than I can chew with it. It took a while to get all the data all together in one spreadsheet. So if you appreciate this video, if you find some value out of it, you learned something new, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get started. Hey guys, Joe here. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button below the video to make sure you don't miss any of my future videos. And if you do click that subscribe button, make sure to leave me a comment below saying you subscribed, and I promise to personally respond to your comment. You guys know how much I value your time. I never want to waste it, and I always want to deliver massive value with every new video. So without further delay, let's go ahead and jump into the spreadsheet. Again, this spreadsheet, like all of the other ones, is available in the Patreon community, both in Microsoft Excel as well as in Google Sheets. So if you find some value from that, you want to check that out, get more information on the specific strategies I have in my own dividend portfolio, what changes, what investments I'm buying, make sure to check out the link in the description below. So we've got here 20 different international dividend ETFs, and I scoured the internet looking for the most popular ones, looking at their expense ratios, their amount of holdings, their dividend yields, how much they pay out, how long they've been created. Just for your awareness, one of the international dividend ETFs that I know you're aware of that you might have expected to see in this video is not in here, and that is Schwab's International Dividend ETF, their international version of SCHD, which is by far the best dividend ETF in my opinion that I actually use in my portfolio that we've back tested. SCHY has only been created for about 3 months. Nowhere near enough data to actually do any qualitative analysis. Qualitative? Quantitative? I think it's quantitative analysis, the actual numbers here, guys. And so I didn't include it. That doesn't mean it's not a good dividend ETF, and it's not a reason not to take a chance with it. We just don't have enough data to test it against all these others that have been created for at least 5 to 10 years, if not longer than that. Here are the 20 different international dividend ETFs here. We've got IQDH, let's see here, how are we ranking these? We'll go based on the oldest ones first here. So we've got the Invesco International Dividend Fund here, PID, the Wisdom Tree International Small Cap Dividend, we've got DLS, Wisdom Tree International Dividend X Financials, meaning not including financial stocks, DOO, the International, from Wisdom Tree, International Mid Cap Dividend ETF, DIM, the Wisdom Tree International Equity ETF, DWM, the Large Cap Dividend ETF from Wisdom Tree, DOL, the International High Dividend ETF from Wisdom Tree, DTH, then the Wisdom Tree Global ex-US Real Estate, and that is DRW. We've got iShares International Select Dividend ETF, IDV. We've got the SPDR S&P International Dividend ETF, DWX. The Global X Super Dividend ETF, SDIV, which we actually covered in the previous video. The iShares Asia Pacific Dividend ETF, DVYA. We've got the 3 international dividend ETFs from FlexShares, their dynamic, their quality dividend ETF here, and then we've got the Vanguard 2 ETFs here. We've got the Vanguard International Dividend Appreciation, which is the VIGI fund, and then we've got VYMI, the High Dividend Yield ETF International. Then we've also got IQDG from Wisdom Tree, the International Quality Dividend Growth ETF, and then the iShares International Dividend Growth ETF, IGRO. Holy smokes, that was a mouthful. We've got a ton of them here. The expense ratios vary from as low as 0.20 to as high as, I believe, 0.6, 0.59 right here. Holdings range from as low as 52 to as high as 1,250 with Vanguard. The range of the funds owned here from about 15, 16 years to as low as 5 years. And then we've got dividend yields ranging from, well, let me just show you here. We've got as low as 1.22% with the Vanguard International Dividend Appreciation Fund to as high as 5.83% with the WisdomTree Global ex-US Real Estate Fund. So again, 3 different investing strategies here. Some of these funds only had 5 years of history. Some of them had at least 10. So I tracked 5-year and 10-year for each of these different investing strategies. First thing we'll look at here is the 5-year and the 10-year. No reinvested dividends. We'll look at trailing 12 months and portfolio value. You can see the ones here that don't have 10 years of history, they have those little blocked out or lines through it here. Let's go ahead and change this data here. We'll put it in black. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right, so trailing 12 months here, first off, we'll go ahead and rank this first by 5 years not reinvesting dividends, and we'll rank it first by portfolio value. 5 years. Top result is WisdomTree with $20,000. The assumption right here is we're contributing $250 a month with an annual cost of living adjustment of 2% every single year. Top result here, like I said, WisdomTree International Quality Dividend Growth Fund at $20,630. Close second here, Vanguard International VIGI with $20,463. Then we've got a few with $18,000 here, and then a few with $17,000. Lowest performers here, $13,000 for Global X, SDIV. We've got $14,000 for a few of them here. We've also got $15,000 here. So these would be definitely the worst performers with respect to overall capital value. Let's sort it by trailing 12 months of dividends. So the goal here, right, we can probably find a large dividend ETF with respect to yield and dividends, but we don't want to sacrifice too much capital appreciation to do so. If anything, we want to have a large dividend yield and stagnant growth, if anything. But if we see here, the largest amount of dividends earned over those 5 years happen to be some of the lowest portfolio values, unfortunately. So let me just go ahead and sort first, largest, smallest on capital values, maybe the top 5 or 6. Here we'll go all to the 17,000 funds, and we'll put those in, I don't know, green text here. Then we'll sort by trailing 12 months of dividends. This one right here is not bad. We have 778 is the large one with WisdomTree, but it's got one of the lowest portfolio values here. But we've also got right here, $551, one of the top performers, or middle of the pack with respect to dividends. That's VYMI from Vanguard. Has also a relatively high portfolio value compared to the others, and a relatively okay dividend amount of dividends over the past 12 months after the 5-year period. You could make the case for maybe one of these 16,000 ones right here, like iShares Select Dividend. But for the most part, it's kind of tough to find one that has balance. Let's take a look at the 10 years now. We'll rank first based on portfolio value. Highest portfolio value would be $40,000, $39.37. Let's say everything above $34,000 will be okay with respect to portfolio value. And then trailing 12 months of dividends, if we sort here by largest to smallest, we can see here that, again, we've got WisdomTree X Financials is one of the top ones here. With respect to trailing 12 months of dividends, by far and away, it's WisdomTree Global ex-US Real Estate at the top, but it's also got one of the lowest portfolio values. So it's tough to find balance with respect to not reinvesting dividends, but who does that? Who does not reinvest dividends? Well, maybe those few are living off of it, but for the most part, we're gonna be having people reinvest dividends. So let's go ahead and switch over to the 5-year and 10-year lump sum investment. So what I went ahead and did here was I took a look with the lump sum investing strategies, assuming we were doing a lump sum investment of $250,000, which is what we're doing here, lump sum $250,000. At the end of both 5 years and 10 years, which of these dividend ETFs actually had more money than when we started, which you think would be a reasonable thing, but turns out it was actually kind of hard to find. If we look here first at the 5 years, we can sort here, and we see that we have a number of funds after 5 years that still have at least $250,000 in them. Although some, I mean, look at this one down here. We've talked about SDIV before in the previous video, how it's terrible from a capital appreciation perspective, and that's the case. You invest $250,000, 5 years later you've got $164,000. That's terrible. And then we've got here also the iShares Asia Pacific Dividend ETF and the WisdomTree Global ex-US Real Estate. Both of them also had less than $250,000. By far and away though, most of them had more than $250,000. Now, we also can sort by trailing 12 months of dividends to see which one was the highest there. Global ex-US Real Estate right here. So we've got $13,500, but only $230 in portfolio value. So we've got a few up here, right here. The iShares Select Dividend ETF, IDV, had a great result here. Good balance between portfolio value as well as trailing 12 months of dividends. Same thing with up here, Vanguard High Dividend Yield at 303 versus 10,500 in dividends. And then we've also got 11,000 here for WisdomTree International Dividend X Financials. And then let's look at the 10-year here, the 10-year lump sum. which was actually kind of hard to find some. It was actually split almost right down the middle. Half of them had less than 250 after 10 years. The other half had more. By far and away, Wisdom Tree was a really strong performer here. At least their small cap, mid cap, and their equity funds were the top 3 with respect to portfolio value. If we sort by trailing 12 months of dividends, we can see here that the top results were definitely Wisdom Tree Global X US with a low portfolio value, and iShares also with less than 250. But these two right here were strong funds. The small cap dividend and the mid cap dividend international ETFs both had strong dividends as well as portfolio values that were really much higher than $250,000. Let's take a look at 5-year reinvested dividends and 10-year reinvested dividends. Let's go ahead and sort further over here and reveal those to see how the results look like. Okay, so let's start off here with 5 years. We'll go ahead and sort by portfolio value first and get the strongest portfolio values. Let's see, we've got a number of them with $21,000 or more. Again, just to make sure we're aware of the contributions here. We've got $250 as a monthly contribution. Annual cost of living adjustment, 2% every year. So every year, instead of investing $250, we'd do 2% more than that. So top results here, portfolio value, reinvesting dividends. After 5 years, we'd have $21,000, a few of them here. Wisdom Tree International Quality Dividend Growth and Vanguard International Dividend Appreciation Fund both had $21,000. We've got 20, 20, 19, 19, 19. And we'll just take these top ones right here. If we just take the top results here with 19,000 and above, we'll highlight those text green, and we'll see which of those results actually result in the trailing 12 months of dividends that are higher as well. Just one. We look here, top result was the Global X Super Dividend ETF, but it had terrible portfolio value. The Wisdom Tree Global X US Real Estate Fund had pretty good dividends as well, but a low portfolio value. So we got this one right here, the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF, VYM, had pretty strong reinvested dividends after 5 years. Trailing 12 months of dividends were pretty high there. And then we've also got right down here 527 with FlexShares International Quality Dividend ETF, IQDF. Let's take a look at 10 years of reinvested dividends. We'll sort by portfolio value first, and we'll take maybe the top results here with 42,000 and above, top 5 results. Top 5? Yeah, top 5. We'll highlight those green and see how the trailing 12 months of dividends look as well. So we've got here one result that's pretty good. iShares Select Dividend ETF, IDV, performed pretty well. We also had right here, DIM from Wisdom Tree, the International Mid-Cap Dividend ETF, that performed relatively well. Unfortunately, both Vanguards only had 5 years of history, so they weren't in these results here, but they performed well. From what I can see, guys, we have a few strong performing dividend ETFs here. We've got iShares IDV. I'll go ahead and highlight that one yellow. We also had VYMI, that performed pretty well. Go ahead and grab that one here and we'll take a look at that. And then we also had the Wisdom Tree, the large and mid cap. So I felt like these are some of the strongest ones here if we looked at portfolio value based on 5 year. We had a few here that performed well, although definitely IDV was an outlier after 5 years for portfolio value. But since we have a 10-year result for those, we've got here, let's go ahead and sort by portfolio value here. We can see that the Wisdom Trees performed well with not reinvesting dividends. IDV was kind of middle of the pack there. If we do it 10 years of lump sum investing, we had Wisdom Tree right there at the top with respect to portfolio value. Although you can see here that IDV and the small cap and mid cap for Wisdom Tree performed well with lump sum investments with respect to their dividends. For 10 years of reinvesting dividends, portfolio value, Wisdom Tree performed well there, DLS and DIM, and then IDV performed kind of middle of the pack, but did well with respect to the balance there. And then trailing 12 months of dividends, if we sorted by that, we can see that kind of middle of the pack here, iShares performed well, IDV with respect to dividends, and then we've got DIM and DLS here that are kind of middle of the pack and kind of low there for balance. So these are the funds that I felt performed pretty well. It was very hard to find one that was balanced with respect to capital appreciation and dividends, which maybe that's reasonable or not reasonable to expect with respect to international dividend ETFs. It's certainly not going to be your entire portfolio, right? Because when we talk about diversification with our dividend portfolios, you know, I don't currently have any international dividend exposure, though I'm thinking about adding one of these and making it maybe 5% of the portfolio, something small. Just giving me a little bit more diversification here. Based on what I see here, I'm looking kind of at VYMI as a good balance there for dividends. If I'm looking at reinvesting dividends in 10-year track history, this would be the strongest result for me. I would probably be looking at IDV for my results there because it's got pretty good portfolio value and it's got really strong trailing 12 months of dividends. I know I'm not going to be owning these over here. It's just a little bit too specific. I mean, Global X Super Dividend has terrible capital appreciation. They're really losing money. And then Wisdom Tree Global X US, just a little bit too specific for me. I don't want to just specialize in international real estate, so I'm not going to own that one. I'm probably going to be adding IDV to the portfolio if I had to guess. Not sure when that's going to happen though. Ton of data here, guys. Again, this spreadsheet is available in the Patreon community right now in case you want to take a look at that. Make sure to leave your 2 cents in the comments below, guys. Let me know what you found valuable from this. If you find any value from that, I always like to know if it's a valuable video for you guys. And then, make sure you let me know what other video topics you want to see more about. Just as an upcoming idea, one of the video topics I want to do is I want to cover, tracking all the different monthly dividend stocks and see how they've performed, irrespective of whether they've raised dividends, just all the, I think, 50 monthly dividend ETFs, or excuse me, not monthly dividend ETFs, monthly dividend stocks. I also want to do the same thing with dividend aristocrats, just to give you an idea of, yes, we can buy dividend stocks with a lot of history of paying dividends, but that doesn't mean they're all a great buy right now. Make sure to leave your 2 cents in the comments below. I definitely take your opinions in high regard, and I use them to plan future videos. That's all I got for you guys in this video. Have a great rest of your day, and please continue to stay healthy, both physically and financially. Have a good one.